Good evening, my dear viewers. Once again, this is your information provider, Professor Paul Mwangi Kebicho. And I want us briefly to discuss something very, very pertinent on what we call the common forms of investment. It is important that people get to understand uh, what are these investments. Very, very important to understand that. Because the moment you understand the various forms of investment, you can be able to make a decision which will give you what we call an upper hand or upper edge. We have what we call stocks or equities. Stocks or equities, they represent what we call ownership in a company. So when you hear somebody talking about stocks, it's actually representing, or rather, it means that you own part of a company by a certain extent. Investors earn through capital appreciation. So when the share goes up, it's called the stock. When the stock price goes up, dividends also go up. Or in other words, the profits the company makes shares that profit to the members. Very, very, very important. So understand what is a stock. And I want you people, because you are my listeners and I really treasure you, I want you to appreciate and understand this. Because when you understand, it will make my work very easy. Even when I'm explaining to you, you will not be hearing like these things are strange. So we talk about stocks or equities as representing an ownership in a company. So when you hear that, if you buy shares from KPLC, Kenya Power Lighting Company, you become an equity holder. You become you become a stockholder for that matter. And when that particular stock or the price of that particular share that you own goes up, that's when your dividends goes up. When they go down, you also lose in terms of returns on investment. It is higher risk, but potentially offers higher returns. So I hope by now you understand what a stock is. Then you go to what we call boards. When you hear people mentioning about boards, these are instruments. Boards are instruments where you lend money to governments or corporations. In other words, when you hear the government talk about the treasury boards, the treasury bills, and they give you a coupon for that matter, all what it means is that you are lending the government your money. And when you lend the government your money, the government pays you something called a return on investment or a dividend for that matter. You earn fixed interest payments and get your principal back at maturity. Just like we do here at Quest Pinnacle Investment Ventures Limited. So your principal is guaranteed. So just like the government offers bonds and bills, we give you what we call a guarantee that your money will be safe at any given time. I hope I'm clear. So kindly make sure that you communicate to me, because you can write to me, Peter Kebicho. Is it clear, my brother Peter? If the speakers are good, I will appreciate. You can write down there on my wall so that I may know. And I thank God that my very brother, our lastborn in the family, is also listening like that, just like our sister Rachel, who is actually in the UK, does listen. Thank you very much. Very, very clear. So I invested in a very, very expensive gadget here. So we talk about boards as the government or other corporations, or you can even have what you call the corporate board, the government board. So that is what you call, you earn fixed interest payments and your principal will be given back to you at maturity. That's what we call a board. It is lower risk compared to stocks, but returns are usually very small. So I want first of all to make it very clear to all of you tuned in that when you buy the government treasury boards or bills, because of them being the safest form of investment, they give you very little. But this life is a matter of taking risks. We must graduate from being entrepreneurs to from being business people to entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are basically risk takers. So we come to what we call mutual funds. So for those joining us right now, I can see Mr. James Monua. Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the feedback. So when you talk about, I've already spoken about stocks or equities for that matter. I've talked about boards, and I'm now talking about mutual funds. Mutual funds, for me, I refer to that as what we call the CIS. CIS refers to collective investment schemes, where people pull funds from individuals, from people out there, and they bring that money together. So we say mutual funds basically refers to pool of money from many investors managed by professionals. So just like we are doing even now here, in as much as we do not call our investment mutual funds, we call our investment DPA. DPA stands for Diversified Portfolio Account. And why did we decide to come up with what we call a diversified portfolio account? I remember I explained to you that this is to ensure that we cushion you against what we call the economic shocks. So in the event one arm of investment performs poorly, we have a fallback plan in another arena. So that's what we call mutual funds, putting the resources together, and then that money is managed by a group of professionals, and they do this in diversified stocks, bonds, and other assets. So this is where we are, even us. We are in mutual funds. So the only thing that I don't talk about mutual funds. I talk about DPA, diversified portfolio account. Good for beginners who want diversification without picking individual investments. Good for beginners. What do I mean? So we are not specifically aligned to an investment vehicle for obvious reasons that I've explained to you. And I can tell you, when you hear mixed farming or mixed cropping means plant potatoes, cassava, yams, plant what we call even cabbages, so that in the event one plant fails, you can always have a fallback plan. So we come to what we call exchange traded funds. They are called ETFs, similar to mutual funds, but traded on stock exchanges like individual stocks. They offer diversification, lower fees, and flexibility, popular for both beginners and experienced investors. So exchange trade funds, as you have heard, it is similar to what we call the mutual funds, but the only difference, it is traded on stock exchanges like the way individual people do. But now the issue here is this. You're charged less fees, and of course, they are flexible, but they are popular for what we call beginners and, of course, even seasoned investors. But I have told you categorically, in our case, we are in what we refer to as diversified portfolio account. Then we talk about real estate. I believe everybody knows about real estate. I don't even have to rave about real estate. This is investing in property. And as you all know, either residential or commercial, just like you had our honorable MP for Kiharo say, when you put a whooping 100 million shillings into a project, into what you call brick and mortar, then you look at what you call the return on investment. It may be, for those people who are quite conscious about their returns, we say returns come from rental income and property value appreciation. Of course, it requires significant capital, but can hedge against inflation. So fine, we appreciate that real estate is good, but of course, the only thing is that it takes a longer time for you to go back your principal. And of course, again, returns are not guaranteed, because when you put up some rental houses, sometimes I have seen, like now, for those people who travel to Nairobi, just before, when you're coming from this place called Darugu, we have some apartments that we have built there more than 20 years ago. They have never been occupied. Think about the amount of money that went into idle for status. You can imagine. I hope all of you, especially those watching me from wherever you are, you have an experience of passing past Darugu, past what we call where this man called Madai Supermarket has got his warehouse. Just there on your left as you go towards Mangu High School, we have got some buildings there that have never been occupied for over 20 years. Think about the investor. Does he still require to be called an investor? What went wrong? So you need to appreciate that real estate sometimes can be a bit tricky. Let's come to commodities, because I've been talking about commodities. Like now, the government of Kenya ordered grains worth 500 billion Kenya shillings, half a trillion shillings, that went to what we call buying commodities. This one includes commodities. They include physical goods like gold, oil, or agricultural products, often used to diversify and protect against inflation. Prices can be volatile, influenced by global supply and demand. So we have got two things here that come in together when you hear about commodities. Remember, when the supply is very high, the demand is low, and who dictates the price of the goods and commodities that you're selling? It is the buyer. So when you hear this aspect of commodities, the element of what we call supply, the supply curve and the demand curve, sometimes this one can be a bit tricky. But as far as we are concerned, we deal in commodities at Quest Pinnacle Investment Ventures Limited. We deal with what we call gold, or what we call precious metals for that matter. Then we have what we call cash and cash equivalent. This one includes what we call savings accounts, certificates of deposits, and on money market funds. Very low risk, but also low returns. So when I hear somebody talking about money market fund and thinks that he's doing pretty well, he's risk averse. And all people who are risk averse, they don't do well in what we call investments. Investments requires men and women who are tenacious, who are versatile, who are courageous, and people who know that no pain, no gain. Even when you take a flight, you take a risk. There is no randa. There's nothing that actually holds that aircraft up there. It's only the science that has been worked on by men, which can sometimes go north or can go south. But you see, we have to take risks. So when you hear something called cash and cash equivalent, when you put your money into a fixed deposit account, I'm left wondering, are you a little bit conversant with what happens? So we have cash and cash equivalents. Then we have what we call annuities. Annuities, these are insurance products that provide fixed or variable payments over time, often used for retirement income, or lower, they have lower risk but less flexible. So me, I would advise you. Then we come to what we call index funds. You have been hearing me talking about index funds. This is a type of mutual fund, or I remember we talked about ETF. And for those people who have forgotten, when talked about ETF, we talked about, I want to just remind you, exchange traded funds. Exchange traded funds. And that tracks a market index, like what we call S&P. We have what we call the Nikkei. They are low cost, diversified, and passive investment strategy. They also give you some bit of return, but not as appealing as what we can provide here at Quest Pinnacle Investment Ventures Limited. Of course, they offer what we call great for long-term investors, those people who know how to hold. Because investment requires people who are patient. Investment is not for the faint-hearted. Investment is not for the indisciplined. Investment requires disciplined men and women. Now, we talk about cryptocurrency for a minute. I'm not going to talk deeply about it because it's a very complicated thing. I want to tell you that this is cryptocurrency. These are what we call digital assets, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Highly volatile but can offer returns, but highly volatile, risky and speculative, suitable for only investors with high risk tolerance. When you hear suitable for investors with high risk tolerance, you need to ask yourself, are you among them? Now, let us come to what we call private equity or venture capital. Investing directly in private companies or startups. This is what we do also here at Quest Pinnacle Investment Ventures Limited. We are a privately owned company. A privately owned company is different from what we call a publicly owned company. A publicly owned company, you must declare, you must always publish your books of accounts every year. There are so many things that you need to do, but when it comes to a private equity or venture capital, there's potential for high returns, but also high risk, usually for experienced investors with large capital. So having that in mind, as I bring this show to a close, are you there? You have not invested your money in any way whatsoever. What are you waiting for? Just put your best foot forward. Take a risk. We take risks. Risks. Let me tell you, those people who excel in life, they take risks. And when you take a risk, like, when you plant, when those people who actually lease a piece of land in Narok for 2 years or 3 years, and they put in wheat, they put in inputs worth 2 million or 3 million. They are not assured of getting returns. But life is about taking risks. Even when you marry a lady who has not been your sister, you never know whether in their family lineage there was this issue of what we call mental health disorder. But you still marry. We have to continually take risks. You have no idea. Sometimes you just meet in town and you end up marrying that particular individual. You don't know whether that person can even shoot you, can even kill you. Life is about taking risks. So if you want to put your money somewhere, kindly come to Quest Pinnacle Investment Ventures Limited. Now, don't wait for the appropriate time. Did you know that those people who keep changing their goalposts, they don't succeed in life? And they continually gnatch their teeth and they continually wish that they did. When you hear somebody wishing, they are experiencing what we call the hard times in life. So I'm requesting all of you, one thing that makes people to fail, whether those people watching me from wherever they are, it is this aspect of procrastinating an idea whose time has come. Procrastination is the mother of failure. If you want to fail, continually give excuses. I'm not going to invest with Kebisho. Kebisho is this. Kebisho is like this. When you talk about Kebisho being like this, I'm still making my strides ahead. And I can tell you for sure without mincing my words, I'm not where I began. For those people who know me, you know the journey that I have walked. And one of the things that makes me happy is the reputation that I have. I have a name, and those people, nobody can come here accusing me that I took his money or her money. I can tell you for sure. And you can even go and look for wherever you want to look at. My records are clean, and whatever I promise, I deliver. With our board of directors, we are professionally do the rest, and I can tell you our investors are happy with us. You can even put those people who belong to us. You can even put a word on my wall, and people can attest to what I'm telling you. Now, trust my competency. For 33 solid years, having been in the financial sector, it would be foolhardy of me not to know what it is that I'm doing. So you can imagine right now as we speak, we have assets under management almost amounting to 1 billion Kenya shillings. When you see me here, I represent more than 1,000 investors. And those investors have had confidence in me. And of course, our board of directors. So please, wherever you are, take that bold step and join us. You only require to call us. Call me, text me. I'll be able to explain to you very well, clearly, in an elaborate manner, so that you may see why you need to put your money with us. As a matter of fact, even Capital Markets Authority is aware that whatever we are doing, we are licensed, we are legit, and I can tell you, we are the fastest growing investment company in Kenya. Imagine 4 years, we are almost hitting 1 billion Kenya shillings. 4 years. You can imagine, God willing, holding all things constant, ceteris paribus, where we'll be in the next 5 years to come. I want to thank our investors most sincerely, those who have confidence. I want to even to thank my classmates, those who have joined us, my very classmates in high school, my classmates at the university level, and even my colleagues where I work. I want to thank all of you and all those people who have confidence in us, even with having not even seen me physically, but you have put your trust onto us. We thank you, and may God give you his blessings that are unmerited. With that in mind, allow me to give you my number. My number is 0722 633 021. 0722 633 021. You can make inquiries. You can even call our office on 0116 13 13 13, 0116 13 13 13, or 0753 855 453, 0755 855 453, or 0713 534 65. All those numbers will come to offices. I want to thank all of you. I'll be coming back shortly with a very, very interesting topic. So don't move far away from my page. Stay tuned. I'll be coming up with another live podcast talking about something different now in life. May God bless you. You are wonderful people, and I treasure you. Thank you so much for having confidence in me. Continually subscribe, continually share, and let as many people know this. And before I bring this show to a close, I want to thank our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. You are very, very important people to us. 80% of our investors are from the diaspora, all the way from USA. We go to Belgium, we go to France, we go to Spain, we go to Italy, we go to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, we go to Dubai, South Africa. Thank you so much for trusting us with your money. And of course, you know, and you all know, and I speak this without any fear of contradiction, that we have given you people the services that you desire. And you can always put a word on our platform, on my wall, and clarify what I'm saying. So, ladies and gentlemen, please find it in yourself to consult with us so that you don't regret. And I have told you, there was a time I was 35 years. Today, I'm over 50 years. And the only thing that I can look back and say I did is what I did. There are people who have wasted their time with unnecessary things, having illicit affairs, taking beer without moderation, and of course, engaging in other unorthodox activities. Those ones don't add up. You'll never be paid any dividend by East African Breweries Limited for being the highest consumer of their stuff. Never be, even those people who sell tobacco, they'll never do that. The only thing that will come back to you is the investment you made. So may God help you as you make this particular decision. Always a pleasure talking to you. This has been your information provider, Professor Paul Mwangi Kebicho, PhD, QB, HSC. And I thank God for all of you. Those watching us from East African time zone, may God bless you. May you have a good evening. Those watching us from other time zones, GMTs, good morning, good afternoon. I'll be coming back shortly to you. So please see you. Don't go far away. Don't change the channel. I'll be coming back with another topic. God bless you. Have a good evening. Shalom, shalom, shalom.